Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Leadership Insights on Conversation with Shenila. I'm your host, Shenila Makhani, and I'm delighted to have you with us today. When we think about leadership, most of us immediately think about titles: manager, director, vice president, CEO, almost as if leadership begins the day someone's update their LinkedIn profile. But if that's true, why do some people with impressive titles fail to inspire anyone? And why do some people without managing anyone become the people everyone trusts? Today's conversation explore exactly that. Our topic is leader without a title. Joining us today is someone who has spent years leading enterprise PMOs, coaching executives, and leading and helping leaders grow across organizations. Please join me in welcoming Kamal Soan. Kamal, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us here today.
Thank you, Shenila, for the opportunity and also the time that everybody who joined us today has invested into this conversation, and I hope it's valuable for them too.
Thank you. So, Kamal, I would like to start with something very many professionals quietly, believe that I'll become a leader once I become a manager. Do you think leadership starts with a promotion or does it begin much earlier?
That's a wonderful question to start with, Shenila, because let's all start with where we all started in our own journey, actually. When we were kids, we used to play a lot of sports. When we grew up, we
Hmm.
took a lot of courses, a lot of, educational merits. We got into job, many things. But when you look back, in sports when we played as a kid, there was always this standout kid, we always used to go to. Or let's
Yes.
just say there is always this classmate or someone in the university we studied in that we always used to go to talk to seek some guidance, or let's just say in the current position we are in or the positions we have been, there has always been someone or is someone who is there out to kind of reach out and speak. In my mind, leadership is all about mindset. It's not about the title. Title is good on paper for HR hierarchy classification, but if you go back, no one gave that kid on the ground we were playing the title that, hey, you are a leader.
Yeah.
It naturally happened, right?
Hmm.
A title gives you authority, but a mindset earns you that influence, an influence that people can reach out, people can speak and feel that better that, hey, this guy or this person is a leader. And I always say in my experience that everybody is born leader because we all have traits that we can showcase as a leader and be that leader that people are looking for.
I think that's fascinating. And you can make me relate to my childhood. Yeah, we all have that leader in our games in our childhood. I can completely agree with this, right? So, Kamal, have you met someone during your career who never had the biggest title, right? But yet everyone naturally followed them? And what made that person different? I know you talk about our childhood games and that leader, but right, when we think about from the career perspective, right, did you had any experience around it?
Absolutely. As I to continue from where I said, right, leadership is not a position, it's more of way of being. And I have met numerous leaders, in both ways, leaders who had title but did not exemplify leadership, and leaders who did not have title but exemplified the true ownership of being a leader,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mm.
those who did not wait for permission or promotion or something to fall in place. They naturally picked up the problem, solved it for the team, recognized the credibility that they need to give for the team. And in my own experience, if I look back, there is this one leader whom I used to report to, and I still go back. I mean, I used to report to that particular leader way back almost a decade ago. But I still go back to that person or professional and say, hey, this is my situation in my career, what would you advise? And the person always comes back with a response. Are they aligned with me with title? Not really. Are they aligned in any way that I work with them on a daily basis? Not really. But it's about the influence without authority. There is no authority for the person to kind of influence
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But it's all about, leadership is chosen. It's not about any title or authority that's on your head to, kind of make a difference for them. It's all about making a difference is how you showcase your leadership.
Absolutely agree. I think I can't agree more to it. So Kamal, if you relate to it, right, and might be you have observed it, right, that many professionals work in the metrics organizations, right? Project
Mhm.
managers, business analysts, architects, scrum masters, right? Often they don't have the direct authority, right? But yet they are expected to influence everyone. And sometimes this comes out as a dilemma for them, right? So, how does someone develop influence when they can't control the system or they don't control anyone?
It's a really good, segue question from, what when we say leadership without a title, right? I
Hmm.
would like to bring few factors for people who are listening this conversation to think about when they hear the word leadership, right? First and foremost is, people who do not have formal authority to lead people. There are two ways to look at it. Are you a reporting manager or you have a functional management that you can work towards? A lot of times, Shenila, we see project managers, scrum masters, product managers, anybody who's in the title of manager or without a title of manager. If you have or do not have a formal authority, understand that the dynamics in the world has changed. Now, how does that align in what we are speaking here? Remember, before previously, people used to be linear learning, which means there was a manager and people, everybody doing the same functional knowledge was working with that manager and used to work with the directions given by the manager. These days, it's no longer there. It's more of a collective learning, which means you report to one manager, but also work with another manager. And
Yes.
the responsibility of coordinating and communicating lies with both your reporting manager plus the functional manager or the team
Hmm.
that you're working with. What I mean to say here is that don't wait for something to fall in place to be a leader. A formal authority is only on a paper, but to be a leader, right? Show up, showcase that you have that integrity to do what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, which will eventually slowly gain trust of everybody around you, whether it's in your formal structure or the functional structure you are in. Next thing is have vision and strategy towards what you need to work on. Your job has a title, but people these days expect more than your title. That is leadership. Have a vision of what you need to work on and develop a strategy for a regular basis, let's say quarterly, monthly, whatever your timeline you're looking for, or the initiative you're working on. Have that strategy in place so that you can look towards it and kind of keep moving. Now, once you develop the strategy, have a clear communication. Okay. If you don't, these days, if you don't communicate what you're working on, nothing gets delivered. Once upon a time, I came across this quote, Shenila, is hard work and communication are two eyes of success. We see a bunch of people who are very hardworking, and we see a bunch of people who over communicate. But neither of us get to success. We need to be smart working, which means balance the hard work, take what you can, don't over promise, take what you can, deliver what you can, promise towards it, and communicate what you have delivered or working towards it. Because remember, leaders above us look for people they can trust with. So be that trustworthy person. So have that clear communication. Now, when I say clear communication, there is an important aspect to all these things is clear mindset. How calm is your mind? How confident is your mind? Because the point is, state of mindset or mind determines everything that you do as a leader. So make sure you take some time on a daily basis to have that calm composure, because people are not looking for another boss on their head. They're looking for a leader. They're looking for someone who can calm them down, listen to
Hmm.
them before reacting, respond, and ensure that they feel listened and also solve the problem. So I think these factors definitely help for you to stand out as a leader without any formal authority.
All right. So before, I think the conversation is going in a very good direction and people are enjoying it because very quickly I have received one question in the comments. So I want to include it before I move further. That is influence something we are born with or can anyone learn it?
I think it is both ways. Some
Okay.
some people are born naturally with influence.
Hmm.
So People listening out there might wonder, hey, where do I stand with a naturally born influence character? So let me
Hmm.
just help them out. If in case you have ever come across something called as Gallup Strengths Finder or Gallup Strengths Poll, whatever it is, if you have taken it, make sure you read that report and realize where do you stand. Is it naturally within you, or is it something you need to evolve as a muscle by constantly practicing it? That is the first step for you to understand where does influence come in with you. If it's natural, see how you can hone on it and develop it to the level you are at and the level you want to go. So that's number one. Number two is, if influence doesn't come to you naturally, the question imminent would be for me to put on a coaching hat and ask is, where is it taking a beat? Which means, is it the confidence or is it your past experience? Whatever may be, where is it that the confidence towards influencing is lacking? Then we need to work towards those root causes so that you actually show up and start to influence people around you and everybody you work with. So it's both ways, I would say. Some are naturally influential people, some are take steps towards influencing, but it's all about how you can improve that muscle and work towards it.
Wonderful. I think if someone would have a follow-up question, please do mention on that. So we will take it later on. So let's move on to the next, I would say, point I would like to discuss is that, sometimes we imagine leadership as, making big strategic decisions, right? But I wonder whether leadership is actually built through very small daily habits. So what daily behavior, distinguish someone who's quietly becoming a leader even before anyone notices?
Good. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, you are a leader. As soon as you wake up, that leadership is on you. It's like a cloth you wear. As I said, right, everybody is born as a leader. So what are those daily habits or practices that you can develop, just like going to a gym and building your muscle? Leadership is a muscle. So what you can do is, first and foremost, say do what you can do. Don't overpromise, but over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. So what does that mean is, people rely on you for what you have agreed upon and they know that you will deliver. So going back, have a vision and strategy so that people know that when it's under your radar, they know you will compulsorily deliver it. That's how the integrity within you and trust from others on you will increase. Number two, when you make a promise, keep to that commitment. So be mindful of what you're accepting, but also make sure you say no when you cannot deliver it. Oftentimes, what happens, Shenila, is from the background or from our experiences or anything, we are not used to saying, I don't know, or we are not used to saying, no, I cannot do it. Right? That is a major concern or
Yeah.
major gray area people don't realize.
Hmm.
Hey, there is nothing wrong in saying, I don't know. We are all learners in this journey, right? Leadership is also a learning journey. Every conversation is a learning journey, like how we are having right now. So the important point is, if you don't know, be humble and say, hey, I don't know. Can I learn something about it? Can I refer something that I can learn about it? So number two is, keep your commitments and be open and honest to when you say that this is what I know, this is what I can deliver. But if this is more than what you're looking for, let me know. I will plan accordingly and deliver it based on what I can. Number three is, listen more than you speak. You know, a leader who is calm, composed, and people in the room can feel the presence of the leader who is not responding, right? Sorry, not reacting, but responding in a mindful manner is the person everybody looks towards. So listen more than you can speak. Now, people might wonder, I try to do that, but as soon as the conversation gets heated up, I don't know, I lose my track. That is where I say that it all depends on the space between the 2 ears, which means to say that it is here. Your state of mind determines how calm, composed, and how much you can hold the conversation before reacting or responding. So, again, go back, spend some time on a daily basis to do some mindfulness practice so that is also a leadership muscle quality that you can build towards. Number four is, Everybody does great job, but in this AI world, how often do you get credit? I don't see that. Replace AI, artificial intelligence, with AI. Another AI I designed, Shenila, is called attachment intelligence. When you give credit to people generously, they attach to you naturally. That's another leadership trait, right? The trust on you increases because, hey, they like, who doesn't want credit, right? When you're doing great work and someone credits you, whether it's like we have a portal called Celebrate, like every organization has a portal. I have an action item every Friday on my calendar before I sign off to celebrate someone either through an IM or a post or something. Close the week on a celebration, because remember, that's how they would carry into the weekend and remember you for longer time than on a weekday. Everybody is busy, right? And the fifth one is going back to the mindset. Stay calmer under pressure also, because this is the most important thing when it comes to it. Your emotion decides how you communicate, and how you communicate, people decide who leader you are. People don't remember what you delivered, but people will remember how you made them feel when you're working with them. So, those five things I would say is definitely something for everyone as a leader to remember on a daily basis: is be calm, composed, confident, and that showcases your character.
I think it's wonderful what you have said, and I really love that, AI, attachment intelligence. Yeah, I think that's absolutely breathable. So, if I would ask, that for example, after listening to this conversation, right, there's something come into the mind. If, for example, if someone wants to become more influential over the next 6 months, because everybody is in their journey, right, and stuck somewhere, sometimes struggle on this side, right? Where would you ask them to begin?
First and foremost is assess yourself. Where do you stand as a leader, right? In all the traits that I've spoken about, whether it's vision and strategy, communication, you know, self empathy and emotional intelligence, your focus and grit towards delivering things, any of these five traits. Ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. This I call as wheel of leadership, a tool I have developed. Is ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand? And I can bet, Shenila, is that none on this world can answer the same number as anybody else. It's like our DNA. Everybody is different. So when you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, ask yourself, what is that number that you are defining towards? We all have heard the word called goal, but I have developed an abbreviation out of that goal. you know when you actually rate, let's just say 5 for your communication, because let's just say you're a project manager or an engineer or whoever it is, communication stands out for everybody. Let's take an example of communication. So let's just say you rate yourself on a scale of 5, right? Then put GOAL on a page. Write down your goal. What do you want to do towards your communication, right? Then O stands for option. Write down what options you have. Is there a program within your organization that you can enroll towards? There is a wonderful organization outside called Toastmasters you can join towards. Leadership is all about not just showcasing where you stand, but also confidently communicating to the executives that are above you, and the team that is around you. Confidence is about that too. So write down the options. Which options do you have? And then the third one is A. A stands for action. You know, take the action towards the options you have listed down. It doesn't have to be a major action. One action a day makes a lot of difference. If you say, hey, I am too shy to even speak in front of anybody, just go stand in front of the mirror every morning when you brush. Talk to yourself. When you talk to yourself, you are self assessing yourself. And the most important thing, the last one, is L. L stands for leadership also, but L also stands for the length of time you need to take this action. This is the most important thing a lot of people miss, Shanila, is, hey, I've attended Toastmasters for a meeting, or I've taken this program, I'm certified so and so. But the important point is not about any of what is on the paper. It's about practically showcasing what you can do, for the length of time, so that it becomes naturally part of your body. which means to say, just say for example, if you want to develop a habit, it takes 66 days to naturally become part of your body. For example, someone wants to wake up at 5 a.m. Wake up 66 days, the 67th day you will wake up without an alarm. Same goes with every goal we work towards. A leadership journey starts with understanding where you stand and where you want to work towards so that you naturally grow towards being a good leader.
Absolutely makes sense, I would say. So, Kamal, let's make it a bit personal, and I would love to make this personal. So, imagine today's Kamal, right? Could meet the Kamal who was just beginning his leadership journey. So, what advice would you give him? And if your younger self ignored that advice, what do you think would have happened?
The leader I am now to the leader I was, I would say, you know, spend more time with people. You know,
Okay.
positions and titles will come naturally,
Hmm.
or let's just say you are project managers out there, projects will come to you and processes will come to you, but build those relationships naturally, which means try to connect with as many as people as possible and build those relationships, because when you understand whom you need to work with, when you understand their personality types, not just understanding who your stakeholder list is,
Hmm.
understand the personality behind that stakeholder. When you understand that person behind the stakeholder,
Hmm.
then you will be successful in a larger way than who you are right now. So that is one thing I definitely would go back to my younger version and say, build as many relationships as possible and understand them.
Wonderful. I think this is something an advice for every younger, I would say, self, even myself too. So, Kamal, here is a time, right, of a little bit rapid fire. So let's see what in first instinct comes to your mind, right? And you can complete these sentences. So, shall we start? Okay. So, the first one, leadership is.
Helping others, become better of who they are, in presence of you. And then when you're gone, they know that you are the true leader that made them the better version.
Awesome. Trust is.
you know Small promises that you make that help them trust you and consistently keep that promise so that they can rely on you.
Great. Influence is.
Influence is ability to inspire without
Hmm.
any formal authority, just by your action, just being there.
Okay. And the best leader is always.
Best leader is always whom people remember mentally, even though you're not physically present, mentally, of how you made them feel and not about what you delivered to them.
Okay. So, one leadership habit everyone should build.
One leadership habit everyone should build:
Hmm.
stay calm and composed, and your character will define who you are. What I mean by that is your ability will get you into the room, but your
Okay.
character and composure will keep you in the room as long as you need to be.
Great. And one book every aspiring leader should read.
One book every aspiring leader should read is What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith. It is a wonderful book. The title itself inspires you. When I was starting my own leadership journey, I was advised this book, and there is no better book than this one, because you will know that the same action won't get you to where you want to go. It's a continuous evolving journey and continuous improvement in yourself, that you will be a better leader tomorrow than who you are today.
Let me say it's a wonderful book. I am currently reading this book, right? And I'm reading it currently second time, and it's an eye opener for me for many aspects. Still, I'm reflecting on many things. And I think I read it 7 years ago. Might be that time was a different mindset, but still, again, I'm reading it and I'm reflecting on lots of things. It's a very good book, and I recommend to everybody. Yeah, it's amazing. So the last one, success means.
Success means peace and happiness in what you do.
Awesome. So, Kamal, if someone watches this conversation and remember only one thing, what would you want that one thing to be?
Don't wait for any permission to lead and be a leader. It's not about the promotion, title, or you being ready. Find a problem every day that you can solve and work towards it. And you are naturally visible to the people around you, and they know that you are the true leader.
Great. So, Kamal, as we are moving towards a closure, I have received some comments, and I think if I would combine all those comments, right? They are flipping around one thing, which is trust, right? And the question, which is generally, building up is kind of your concern, which is generally building up is around, how we can build trust, right? So that we can influence people, because trust is the first thing in, when you want to influence someone, right? So, what do you suggest we can do to build trust with people, right? Among people, so that we can influence them.
Absolutely. I think, and also I wanted to make sure, is this 1 hour or half an hour, Shenila? Just keeping things
It's
going.
kind of 30 to 35 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So that positions well. All right. A lot of people want to know, how do we gain trust of others? I think this is a very good question and very applicable to anybody, personal life, professional life. So people out there who love formulas, who love, what do you say, a simple mechanism for them
Yes.
to
Step
work
by
on.
step.
Yes, here you go. Trust is something that you operate, in the numerator. You operate, you are reliable, and how inclusive, you are in what you do. But the biggest denominator of trust is, which side is it focused on? Which means, are you always focused on solving the problems of yours, or are you focused on solving the problems of others also? There is a formula for trust actually. You can Google, it's called trust formula, which is what I'm trying to explain. Is the biggest factor that you need to remember when you work towards trust is balancing the goals orientation towards yourself plus the person that you are working with. For example, on a personal life, I have kids, I work with them, but sometimes time doesn't, kind of keep me to be with them always. Or let's just say in your organization, there are people waiting for to work with you, or you have to work with them. Why do people trust you? Because you give time to them. You work towards their goals, not just your goals. As a project manager, engineer, scrum master, whatever title you bear, are you just delivering your deliverables, or are you helping others in their deliverables also? That's the biggest denominator. When you understand that the orientation should be more balanced of delivering your deliverables plus also committing to time in delivering other people's deliverables, then trust naturally improves. The biggest factor that actually we see erosion of trust is people are more oriented towards their own goals. The lack of orientation towards others' goals beats a lot of people from gaining trust of people around you. So start to focus on balancing and delivering goals of everybody around you, including you, again based on time, then things will fall naturally in place.
Great. So, still, this is a formula, and I think it can work. It is workable for everybody, right? We just need to give it a try. So, there's one more question, Kamal, and it's, have you ever coached someone who transformed simply because they changed their mindset?
Absolutely. I mean, coached and coaching and will coach. Oftentimes, I mean, I'll just take an example. Right now, I'm actually coaching a solution architect in a major firm who wants to become an engineering manager. Just the presence of discussion and coaching that person has gained and given so much confidence to that person that they naturally started to find more positions now to apply. Were the positions not available before? The question to everybody out there, were the positions not there available before? They were available, but the point is the visibility comes through your confidence. So
Hmm.
first and foremost, be that calm person, gain that confidence, and everything around you will naturally fall in place. So yes, transformation happens. And again, coaching is more transformational than transactional, and leadership is the same way. Is see in ways you can bring transformation by solving problems by and not by bringing problems.
Okay, so just when you were responding, there was a follow-up question on this, right? There's not do people, as this world is currently being, people are asking technical expertise more than, other expertise or emotional expertise they need in the people. So do people overestimate the technical competencies and underestimate the emotional intelligence?
That's a good question on formal authority and how you lead people. I'll give you an example. You know, you have a new leader who joins based on everything that people have asked on technical expertise and everything. Let's just say, but once they join the organization, how successful you are and how people respect you depends on what is not asked. You know,
Hmm.
the I think the person who has asked this question is more oriented towards looking for a job or wants to get into a job. Let's start from there. Yes, skills and everything is important to get a job. But as the saying goes, it's not about getting a job, it's about surviving in a job that matters the most. Your paycheck comes up how long you survive on the job, not getting the job. Of course, we understand the modern times have changed. A lot of people are looking for jobs right now, given the current impact of AI. So this topic and this discussion is good for you to keep for more long term, to understand that, even in your job search, be that calm and composed person, be that person who is positive in continuing to search despite no results, right? That is also leadership, right? Technical skills, how you present, how you communicate, that is leadership. How you respond to a question in your interview, that's leadership, right? Preparation towards interview, that's again leadership. It's a package. There is no defined formula for leadership. How you show up is as a leader is your leadership.
Okay, so there's one more follow-up question to me after
For
this.
sure.
So, for sure, we are not finishing in 30 to 35 minutes because we have good follow-up questions. So, now I have a question. According to you, Kamal, what is the biggest misconception about leadership?
People who have title are leaders. you know I will give you a classic example. I was talking to an engineering lead, 10 years ago, and this was an eye opener for me. The person was very talented, very motivated, very excellent, and the person everybody in the team goes to listen to that calm voice and direction. There was a management open position in our own organization. This was the first person I went and spoke, and I said, hey, you are the best fit for this position. The person said, I am a subject matter expert. I may not be able to do justice to the position and the requirements of the position, right? Oftentimes people believe that a leader is someone who is sitting top of the hierarchy. No, not really. I have worked with many people who bear the titles and failed as leaders, and I have worked with many people who do not have titles but have been excellent leaders. Leadership is everybody listening to this conversation. You are the leader who is seated on the chair you are at, or wherever you are. You are a leader, no doubt about it. But how you showcase leadership is what we need to improve upon.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and wisdom, Kamal. It was awesome. It was wonderful to have such conversation with you because they are raw and they are real, not manipulated. So, people would have things to learn. And the way I got the comments and the questions during those on the follow-ups, it was amazing. So, thank you so much. I genuinely believe this conversation will encourage many professionals to stop waiting for permission to lead and instead begin leading through their actions, their mindsets, and the value they bring every day. So, thank you once again for joining me on Conversation with Shenila. And to everyone watching, thank you for being part of another episode of Leadership Insights. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more conversations with leaders from around the world. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, leadership is not a title you receive, it's a choice you make every day. So, thank you so much. Bye and take care.